Good morning. My name is Brent Granby and I'm a COPE candidate for Park Board. For the past 10 years, I've been a community activist and an organizer with the West End Residents Association and on the board of West End Community Centre, as well as being primary caregiver to my two daughters. I've worked on creating community art projects, community gardens, and many community-based citizen engagement processes, many like this one right here in the West End. Also, last community garden I worked on was an intercultural community garden on the top of rooftop of St. Paul's Hospital. Also worked on bringing the Secret Lantern Society and working in cooperation with the West End Community Centre to bring a winter solstice parade to the West End, which was very successful in the time that I was on the board of the West End Community Centre. For the past 3 years, I've been chair of the COPE Park Board Caucus, where I've supported our Commissioner Loretta Woodcock in the work that she does on the Park Board. I think Vancouver is blessed with an extraordinary number of community centres, parks, fitness centres, pools, and recreational services. We're very fortunate to be living in a city with these great parks. But I think going forward, the real big issue is around accessibility and affordability. We need Vancouver to keep taking action on sustainability issues. I think this is a huge issue for our generation. We need to be able to look our kids in the eyes and know that we've done as much as we can do on this issue. And I think this is extremely important, and I really want to ensure that we take action, continue taking action on this issue. We also need to engage all citizens to ensure that our planning process is inclusive, and this is done with intentionality. One of the results that I learned about doing the intercultural community garden is really around the planning process and putting that at the front end and saying, how can we do things more sensitive to intercultural understanding and intergenerational understanding? So I think that's something that needs to be deeply embedded in our planning process. And I'm deeply committed to that process of inclusion and action. I will work passionately and persistently to build solutions that will allow facilities to be affordable and accessible and sustainable, and to ensure that communities embrace everyone. With regards to the two questions, as being a former board member of the West End Residents Association, I know what an important work that all the community centres do in terms of setting the priorities for the community centres, and I support the community centres associations. The JOA, I spent many meetings being in JOA meetings around trying to negotiate an agreement with the West End Residents, with the West End Community Centre, with the Park Board, and I know that it's a very onerous process. You can count on me as a commissioner to listen, to have respect for the community centres associations and try and come up with constructive solutions to these problems. I believe in the power of partnership. I have a 10-year record of working collaboratively, building consensus in volunteer organizations, and I think I have a lot of experience in trying to build that trust as a person and working with larger institutions. So I think that's one of the things that we need to restore in terms of the JOA process and the relationship between the community center associations and the Park Board. In terms of the operating budget, I think we need to make the case in terms of how important the services are that are offered at the community centers and associations. I know how important they were in my life when I was a stay-at-home dad to have those services there. We need to ensure that they're affordable. The case needs to be made to council that these services that we have at community centers are the things that keep our communities safe, they keep our communities healthy, and we need to see them fully funded. So I will be a strong advocate at council, but also to residents too. We have to understand why these services are important, why they're crime prevention tools that we have in every one of our communities. After school care, before school care, programs for youth at community center. These are all things that create communities that are safe and happy. We need to see them fully funded. As your Park Board Commissioner, I'm asking you today for your vote to support COPE, to support Vision, in the next election. On November 19th, I hope you'll vote for COPE, and if you want more information about COPE policies, you can go to cope.bc.ca, and we have our policy document is available there. Thank you very much.